Hey, what's up there, guys? Welcome to today's video. We got a spicy one here for you because I am going to be talking about something that I think doesn't really get talked about too much in the esports scene, and specifically, I am going to just straight up say it. The CDL has a ton of problems. The Call of Duty League has a lot of issues. And you know what? Call of Duty, okay? Call of Duty is like the game itself as a whole is like less than half of the issues with the CDL. Okay. And I'm just I'm sure this is gonna get me absolutely canceled. I don't care because I have just decided, you know what? I'm gonna do my thing. I am going to embrace the hate and embrace the I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna embrace the hate. I'm going to just go and talk about things however, and I'm just not gonna care because that's just what I feel like doing, because I'm going to speak my opinion, because if nobody is willing to say things about their opinion, things are just never going to happen. And honestly, I gotta give kind of shout outs to this to primarily, it's crazy that I'm saying this because a lot of things that they do say I don't always agree with, but I gotta give shout outs to Patrick Price Aches and Ben J Nassim. Specifically them being on the flank, being willing to talk about things even and say things that get them a lot of hate and get them canceled all the time. They are part of the reason why I want to bring up some of this stuff. So the first thing we're going to talk about as I talk about the CDL is the fact that my thing is not showing up. There it is the format. Okay, so this currently right now shows all previous matches of the CDL, and it shows this is all completed matches, okay, for the entire season. All right, so just looking at just looking all the way down, we're just going to start at Major 1. Okay, going all the way down to Major 1 of this year. We have, heck, this is Boston Breach Major 1 qualifiers. Okay, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We've got, okay, so this is bracket. Okay, so we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. We have 41 qualifier matches. And then you have bracket. Okay. And you have 41 qualifiers just for the first major. And they're all online. Just to have like less than that, you've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Less than 50% of the matches played in Major 1 were on LAN. Okay, and I'm going to talk about it in this instance. Esports do not thrive in an online environment. They do not. They don't generate revenue. Okay, maybe that part might be wrong, because it is a lot cheaper to run a online event than it is to run a LAN. I'm not going to deny that. But esports do not thrive in a online environment. They need to be played on LAN. And it's better for the players, it's better for the viewers, every single aspect of it is better if it is on LAN. And unfortunately, this is just a problem that I've had with esports in general, is that there is only one good organization that I feel has been able to do LAN in a good way, and that is the LCS. And I don't know if this is something that is feasible for every single esport to do, especially when you get to a lot of like international stuff. But for the LCS, which is a franchise league, they all play at the same studio every single week. Now, I'm not saying that the CDL has to adopt that same format, but they need something. I mean, online is just it's just boring, and it doesn't matter. I mean, that's another thing is with points and everything for CDL is it really online just does not matter. And you can see that here when looking at the CDL standings. The teams that I'm mainly talking about in this area are LAG and Minnesota Rocker. LAG, they have had terrible online performances. They barely win. They win maybe one set each split. You can see it like we're looking over LAG. They win maybe one set online, and then they get on LAN and they get a top 6 placement on LAN, and now they've got 120 CDL points and are still up to possibly qualify for champs. The only team that their season is chalked for champs is Boston, because they can't win a set. They can't win a game either online or on LAN. Minnesota, kind of the same way. They didn't really do the best in Major 1, and then they came out, had a top 4 finish, and now they've been sitting pretty mediocre. Haven't really had the best performances both either online or on LAN, and currently they're qualifying for champs. I think teams like Vegas and Carolina should be able to pass both Minnesota and Miami. But, like Minnesota, they had one good major on LAN, and now they're showing up as being a champs contender. I mean, you look at the record of Vegas Legion, they've got 11 map wins, 18 losses, and so, like, that should be showing Vegas as a stronger team. But because Minnesota had a better LAN performance, they're going and they're showing up to be a better team. So, right now, the format for COD is just not working. Teams are just playing a ton of games that just don't matter to qualify them for champs. And yeah, I mean, I'm fine with wanting to make more of a decision making for champ. Like I'm all for more content. I'm all for more games. I'm all for a lot of this. I'm all for the CDL trying to give us more matches. However, these matches have to matter. If you want me as a spectator to sit down and watch, 3 matches a day, 3 days a week of CDL games, I want them to drive something for the regular season. It's honestly, it's a big critique that I have with baseball. Is teams play 160 games of baseball. That's so many. It's an unnecessary amount of games. The NFL, they play 16 weeks. You have 16 weeks of the NFL, and that determines how you're going to be doing for playoffs. Now, I don't think we need to shrink down to only 16 games of COD. I think that's not enough COD. But if you're going to be playing as many matches as you are throughout the year, you got to make it matter more. Especially when, you're looking at standings, right now, there's nobody who's really going to be breaking top 4. The only team that, like, even the gap between 4 and 5, like, yeah, there's a huge gap between New York and Toronto. But there is it's not a big enough gap to be able to, or there's a big gap between New York and Toronto, but the gap between New York and Seattle is still big enough too that Seattle's going to need to do quite a bit to be able to break into top 4. Like, it's just not happening, especially with the way that online matches are going. If you want teams to be able to make a difference, you have to be able to either make LAN points worth more, or I don't know if this would actually work. I don't I'm not a TO. I've never been a TO. I've never been a league owner. But my thought that I've kind of, as I've been watching the CDL recently, has been, what if we were to do a instead of having qualifiers be worth CDL points, you make it kind of similar where you might just not qualify for the major. And so if you're going to, does it make the majors? Okay. So actually, let me talk this over. I'm going to put my clothespin down here for a second. So this is my ADHD brain going absolutely kind of crazy on this. So what if we expand the league, more teams? Okay. You have more teams. Now, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about league expansion, but you expand the league, have more teams. You play a qualifier, only 12 teams make it to the major. So then you have teams that don't make it to majors and miss out on those CDL points, making it harder for them to get to champs. Now, again, I know there's a lot of that because that would make that not work, because if you don't make the major, then you miss out on all of those CDL points, making it next to impossible to make it a chance if you don't make two majors. I don't know all the details of it. I know there's a lot of holes in that. That is just a very much off the cuff idea that I've had. But I feel like it would make the online matches matter more, because if you're not performing well online, you're not making it to these majors, you're not making it to champs. I don't know. That's just kind of an off-the-cuff idea that I'm having. But that's the first problem with the CDL. Okay? The second problem that I'm only talking about two problems. All of these problems that I'm talking about within the CDL and the things that would make COD better, or that need to happen to make COD better, has nothing to do with the state of the game. And Modern Warfare 3, it's crap. Game's not done well. Codcaster is not working. And if you're going to run a competitive game based off of your spectator thing, your spectator program needs to work. But that is a soapbox for a completely different video, and honestly, kind of a dead horse. So, this next thing that I am going to be talking about when it comes to the CDL is the problem with the CDL. And again, this is going to be making me this is probably going to once again make me get canceled, but I don't care. Is going to be players' attitudes. I don't know where the tweet is. Actually, it might have not. I don't think Scrap actually tweeted it. I think it was just Draza. Yeah. So like we've got players tweeting stuff like this. And coming after other people's, like, acting extraordinarily unprofessional. And I'm calling out Draza on this. I'm going to call it Scrap. Scrap does this all the time, both on camera and on Twitter. And and it is horribly unprofessional. And it is something that, frankly, so you don't know who I am and why I'm yapping like this. I've been casting Call of Duty for the last 2 years, specifically on the collegiate scene. And I've been really just trying to invest myself more in the Call of Duty scene, because I love Call of Duty as a game. I love it as an esport, and I think it should be up there as a better esport than what it is. But honestly, it makes it really hard for me to want to be invested in the scene, knowing that the players that I would be supporting are ones that, frankly, don't act any different than the 12-year-old squeakers in a COD lobby. Like, that's the problem that I have with wanting to support that scene. Is if you are going to be a professional player, if you are going to be somebody who is going to be the face of your league, why are you acting in the way that you are? And not only that, the CDL as an organization, at least in to the public eye, don't do anything about it. They aren't going to punish players for going on Twitter and calling another player's girlfriend a whore and other such, like, and it's not just this is just the most recent from Major 3, but it's everywhere. And I know, okay, I know I could post this video on YouTube and then people are going to come out and say, you know, who am I to be saying this? I'm nobody. I don't cast. I don't play. Blah, 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 blah. I get that. I know I don't have the receipts for it. I'm not speaking of this as from a player perspective. I'm not speaking of this from a caster perspective. I'm speaking of this purely from the perspective of as a spectator. Because for me, I want to be invested in players, and I want to be able to see players grow and see them. Like, I want to be invested in them, but I don't want to be invested in somebody who is going to be saying those things about somebody else's partner. Like, I want to be invested in people who are going to be good people, not bad people who are getting praised, honestly, for doing the things that they're doing. Like, Breaking Point looks at this and they're like, oh man, dope check, boom, drama, this gives us so much content. They're eating this up like absolute gravy, which only, again, fuels the narrative because it provides them with content. It provides players with more people with engagement farming by trash talking in this way. And I'm fine with trash talking. You know, one of my favorite trash talking moments in any esports is in the LCS. Okay, I'm just going to pull it up, this clip right here. This is one of my favorite trash talk. LOL at League of Legends Shanghai All-Stars 2013 with Doublelift. Okay, I love that moment. He just, like, that is good trash talk right there. You know, everyone else is trash. Boom. He said it, but he didn't go and rip on, like, just be, I mean, one of the things, I'll talk about it as unprofessional. He doesn't swear on camera. He didn't go and come at people for who they were. It didn't attack. There wasn't any personal attacks. It was just, boom, everyone else is trash at the game, and that was it. And they moved on. That was a great moment. It was Doublelift calling out his other players, saying, get better, and then he moved on. Versus, I don't know if I will be able to find it. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but at the end of one of the games, Scrap like gets up and like grabs his camera, and they're just like yelling at each other. They just look like and act like children, and it's the things that like in other professional sports wouldn't work. And so for me, in order for that is something that the CDL needs to do better at. Because if you're going to have somebody as the face of your league, they should be acting like a decent human being. And at the moment, that is just not happening within the CDL. So yeah, those are the main things that I want to be talking about and addressing. Those are my now, I just want people to know this is my own personal opinion. I'm not wanting to well, actually, no, I am calling people out, but I'm just wanting to call people out, talk about the state of Call of Duty and just how it's not good, and the players need to frankly just be better, and the league needs to be better. And I want to get my thoughts out and just talk about it and upload it onto this YouTube channel where hardly anybody even looks at it anyways. So yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. If you have anything you want to add to that, that is totally up to you on what you decide to do with the information that I'm posting in this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And we'll see you later. Goodbye.